of Racial Equality is a nationalist Pan-Africanist organization of the Garveyite variety. We feel the survival of black America is threatened by racial schizophrenia that plagues a great portion of black leadership. Malcolm called this problem the problem of the house nigger against the field nigger. Its destructive ramifications exist yet today. Black masses are governed and led by an elite few who have split loyalties between their black and white families. These racial schizoids are leading us down the path of racial genocide through the propagation of forced integration and the calculated assimilation. Black people could very well disappear as a people and certainly lose all prospect for black political, economic, and social power and unity. I say this feeling a profound sorrow and a heartfelt concern, for destruction looms critically before us unless we meet head-on the problem of the white-imposed leadership of the mulatto aristocracy and their Bantu lackeys. CORE will not shirk its responsibilities to reveal this truth and expose this conspiracy against black people.
Mr. Vernon?
Mamu Baraka has notably, in Newark, operated on this level. I'm quite sure that his views as to the ultimate future of black people are very different from mine. And God will only tell some years hence who is right. But he works to get people registered to vote in the city of Newark so that they can use some of the power. If people are powerless in Newark, in part at least, it's because they don't use what power channels they have. And I think we need to address ourselves to the ways in which we can build unity on specific problems, specific needs where there is analysis and action.
May I say this, so we won't get bogged down in our differences and in having an argumentation over our organizational philosophies.
Let me agree with Reverend Cleve and state again that it is ridiculous, it is insulting to black people to assume for one moment that for all these years white people have been getting a good education. You know, the Kennedys have been going to their racially exclusive and isolated schools and becoming presidents. And for us to assume for one moment that black kids must be bused into white schools to get a good education is nothing but racism by black people against themselves. Self-hate.
It seems to me that that is the only way that we can bring about some kind of unity out of our diversity. And I think the Reverend Clear ought to understand that those of us who do take a position of an open, pluralistic society, that we're not going out of the black community, that we're not going to be run out, and that we're there just like the tree planted by the rivers of water.
I mean, we have one more response.
I'm wondering whether, Mr. Jordan and the other assimilationists and integrationists would be willing to refrain from speaking exclusively for the black community, recognize their two goals, and agree for us to function and possibly have a peaceful coexistence and reinforce each other's goal. The problem is the integrationists in conspiracy to silence the true aspiration and goal of most black people, which is that of self-determination.
Yeah, to get some power. Our powerlessness is the thing we suffer from. Either we escape from powerlessness and get power to control our own destiny, or we end up the victims of genocide.
I think that there would be a consensus here, if that's possible, that the goal of political and economic empowerment on the part of black people is a desirable goal and hopefully an achievable one. I think that the difference comes as we relate to how we get there and the means by which it ought to be achieved.
Thank you. This question, Dick Gregory, I hope you can answer succinctly, from Ronald Webb in Washington, D.C. Do you feel that the U.S. government will use sickle cell anemia as a form of genocide?
No.